My name's Adam Davison and I'm the Project Officer with the South Devon Area of Outstanding Natural Beauty. And I'm working on a multi-partner project called Life on the Edge. And what we're aiming to do is to reverse the decline in some of the country's rarest invertebrates. Today I'm at East Prawle, but the Life on the Edge project is about 6 key hotspots where 26 incredibly rare and threatened species live. So just behind me is one of those hotspots. It's Bolt Head and Bolt Tail. It's managed by the National Trust, which is one of our partners. We've also got other partners. Buglife, they're the national partner that wants to turn around the fortunes of these really rare invertebrates. We've got plant life on board as well, because the project's really about extending the amount of wildflower coastal grassland that we have. I can just imagine the future where we've got huge swathes of beautiful wildflowers that are just covered in clouds of butterflies and some of these incredibly rare invertebrates. Life on the Edge is going to be a real people project. It's going to be involving local communities, parishes, schools, churches, people that are involved in village life. It's about making South Devon really vibrant. The place is going to buzz. All of those wildflowers are going to be enjoyed by the numbers of visitors here. I'd like to think that it might help some of these rural economies as well. It's really going to make a difference here in South Devon, but it's going to make a difference nationally as well. I think a project like this that can turn around the fortune of the rarest bee in Britain is really something to go for.
I'm Richard Tucker. I'm a fourth generation farmer here at East Prawle in this beautiful landscape. My father has done a great deal towards the saving of the soil buntings within this area. We grew a lot of spring barley here to feed the birds over winter and left the overwinter stubbles. They now, we hope, have been saved and are now spreading throughout the area. So this morning I was spraying a field of spring barley just over there. It's a field that does not owe itself to growing cereals in, but I have to grow a field of spring barley there at the moment to feed the animals, which are paying the wages. But there were times this morning where I felt, what on earth am I doing spraying this field, whereas it should have a few animals lightly grazing it, hopefully get environmental payments that would cover the difference between growing a crop or not growing a crop and having more bugs, wildlife, etc. doing the job there. So now we are hoping to do some form of environmental scheme right on the cliff edge where we have the very rare bees plus lots of other insects that are only found here, as far as I know, on the most southerly tip in Devon, where we are hoping to put in wildflowers to give them more food to try to repopulate the area. We do like to see people here, as they do bring an awful lot of money into the pubs, the shops and the local economy. But if they can just respect and think about the fact that we are trying to work here as well, that would be most greatly appreciated. So life here on the edge can be very harsh. The weather can beat you to death, but I wouldn't change it for anything. I love this land. I love where I was born here in this area. And I hope one day to be buried just down around that corner with an old stone gatepost for a headstone. And looking out over the sea, which I love, and everything around it.
I'm Andrew Whitehouse. I work for Buglife, the Invertebrate Conservation Trust. We're working with South Devon AONB on the Life on the Edge project. Right now we're in Prawle Point, just down from East Prawle, and this is a really important place for one of the rarest bees you can find in the whole of the UK. This is the six-banded Nomads Bee, and it's disappeared from much of its range in England, and the only place you can find it in the whole country is right here. At the moment, there aren't many flying around, but the host species, which is the longhorn bee, is buzzing all around me, and they're all going into these nest holes in the cliff. So the cuckoo bee, the six-banded nomad bee, goes into the nests of the longhorn bee to lay its eggs, a bit like the cuckoo bird. And it needs a really big population of its host, the longhorn bee, to have a successful population itself. What makes this area so good for these bees is the crumbly cliffs. So this is friable, which basically means it's solid enough to stand up, but a bee can dig into it, and you can see all of these little holes where the bees have dug in. Of course, bees need nectar and pollen, and the nectar and pollen is up on the top of the cliff. There's lots and lots of wild flowers up there, which is where these bees are foraging right now. So there's lots of bees up on the top, and there's lots of bees here hanging around these nest holes. This is only one site in the whole of the Life on the Edge project. We've got 6 sites across South Devon, and they all have special invertebrates that live there. And that's what this is all about. It's working with these incredibly rare and threatened invertebrate species, bees, butterflies, moths, beetles and spiders, to make sure they have a prosperous and brighter future. This project is all about partnership working. So we're working with a huge number of organisations. It's not just Buglife and the AONB. We're working with the National Trust, Sorbet Coast and Countryside Trust, local landowners, local farmers, some of the estates down here in South Devon. And so there's lots and lots of organisations coming together to help wildlife, to help nature recover. This project is about people too, so working closely with local landowners and local farmers, but also working with local communities. So we hope to get people a bit more in touch with the wildlife on their doorstep, introduce the amazing longhorn bees that they can find on the coast, some of the incredible bush crickets and moths and butterflies, so people can really, really enjoy and get closer to nature. We're in the midst of a biodiversity crisis, and nature really is in big trouble. We really have to act now to make sure that these invertebrates don't disappear from the South Devon coast. What we want to do is to restore the wild coast of South Devon. So everywhere from Tor Bay round to Plymouth, we want to increase the amount of wildflower-rich grassland on our coastlands, which is going to help bees like the longhorn bee down here at Poole, but a host of other species, butterflies, moths, beetles. Huge numbers of species will benefit from this. And it's better for people. There's wonderful places you can go and visit, spend time in nature and see the wildflowers blooming.
We're quite close to the bee colony here, and this is a really important part of the jigsaw. It's not in flower yet, but it's the narrow-leaved everlasting pea, and it flowers at the end of the season, and it creates that boost that these species really need. The problem is there isn't much of this plant around, and so we're looking to work with the community, work with people to actually gather seed, grow the everlasting pea, and then reseed this area with it. It really is a big part of the jigsaw to turn the future around for these incredibly rare species. You know, the changes in agricultural policy are going to give us a real opportunity to turn things round for nature recovery. We're going to be able to pay farmers for producing fields of wildflowers and butterflies, saving rare bees like the six-banded nomad bee. It really is a dawn of change. The National Trust are one of our key partners in Life on the Edge. They own some fantastic tracts of land, and it's that location where all these really rare species are. So working with the Trust and other landowners, whether the landowners at Fleet Estate or the Blackpool Estate, or the land that the Coast and Countryside Trust look after, we're in a position to really improve those areas for nature. And the whole thing about nature recovery is based on doing things on this coast and allowing those pollinators to spread along the bee lines into the hinterland of the AONB and to thrive in this wonderful environment. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity to turn around the fate of our rarest bee. And this is where it's going to happen. It's going to happen through Life on the Edge. We're so excited about it. And so many people are going to be able to be part of that narrative. They'll be able to say in their lives they saved one of our species from extinction. It really is a great opportunity.